welcome to the Sistah Talk podcast with the Queen of the Sauce, Gold Chain Diva, and this is my co-host,
Miss BB, and that's with a Z.
And we're just two sisters with a lot to talk about, but we always got something for the misters.
Absolutely.
And so what's been going on, sis? How's your week been going?
Whew.
Look, anytime you gotta breathe like that, it's a story. Look, story time.
Yeah, listen. Work has been crazy, first of all. Work has been insane. I can't even begin. I'm not even going to talk about work. Work has just been crazy. That's just what it is. I feel like the month has been flying by. I mean, it's already, January 20th. Before you know it, we'll be in the month of February. That's just crazy.
Yes, so. The days have definitely been flying by. Crazy. Every day I look up, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. The next time I look up, it's 4:30 in the evening.
I definitely feel you. So what's been going on with you? What's been going on? How's your work week? Everything? How's everything?
Work week is pretty cool. You know, I'm just in the rat race like everybody else. You know, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, well, at least I got a job, so you know, it could be worse.
Yes, I feel you. I swear I do.
I can't wait for the day that I can wake up and do everything that I want to do.
Listen.
Everything, and not even just on like try to be lazy and just chill type stuff. Like really do what makes me happy every morning. Mm-hmm. Like that's the conflict that I wake up with every morning now, is where I'm like, yo, I'd rather be doing something else.
Absolutely.
So that's been my week. It's been very much, you know, different days, same shit.
Yeah.
Nothing really eventful happened this week. You know, just still trying to get everything set up for Sauceworthy Productions. You know, it's going a little slower than what I expected, because I always bite off too much more than what I can chew, but it will get done. But, you know, I'm blessed. I'm here, you know, always sound mind, good spirit, you know, so I can't complain.
All right.
So what we talking about tonight?
All right, so I think we're going to start off with the 5 love languages. I'm sure you're familiar with it. I'm sure you guys are familiar, you know, with the 5 love languages.
But for those who aren't familiar,
yes.
Explain it.
Okay, so I'm going to explain it. I'm going to read a little bit off of my phone. But, so you have words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. You have acts of service. You have gifts. You have quality time. And then you have physical touch. You know, while I was, first of all, I love anything that has to do with love. I love it. Mm-hmm. I'm such a Cancer. I'm mushy gushy, and
I'm a Leo. You know, I love too, but just in a different way.
Yes, and it's okay. But so I was looking at these 5 love languages, and you know, I was kind of picking out which ones mean something to me. Which ones do I appreciate more from, you know, my significant other? And the 2 that I picked 2. Because I'm going to ask you, what's your 2 out of the 5? So, I put quality time. That's my first one. And then my second one would be physical touch.
And so these are the 2 that you believe that are your love languages?
Yes, okay. That are my love languages. That I like to receive.
Okay.
From my person. So, and I'm just going to explain a little bit why. So, quality time, I don't know. I love, like, just chilling in the house. Watching TV, not doing much of anything, not even having to really like think, just enjoying each other's time. I love that. Physical touch. Who doesn't like cuddles? I mean, I can't really say who doesn't. Some people. I
mean, I know a few people. I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but you know who you are.
Oh shoot.
Okay. No, but I know people who don't particularly care for affection.
Yeah.
And I mean, and honestly, it was a foreign conversation, because when I had this conversation with that person, it was foreign to me, because like, I thought everybody was okay with being touched and being hugged. Like, I know for certain people, like, you know, trauma keep people from being able to do that, whatever. But, like, it was just a weird thing to me. And I was like, and I had to tiptoe around it, because I'm like, well, I don't want to offend this person, because that's just, that's who they are and that's what they prefer. And that's okay. Right.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I just, what would be your 2 out of words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch? Which, if you can pick 2, because honestly, I could say I like all of them, to be totally honest. But
so what I will say is, I have gone on this journey. A lot of people who follow the Sauceworthy podcast know a lot about my relationship status and dating and all that stuff. So in the process of me like soul searching and figuring out, you know, what I want in a relationship, that was a part of it. It's looking at the love languages.
Okay.
And so I uncovered that I'm very heavy on the words of affirmation, like real big on words of affirmation. Like I don't feel like you love me unless you tell me it constantly. Now I don't know if that's a Leo thing or what, but like I need that constant affirmation. Like I need you to constantly like boost me up and big me up. Like I'm good without it, but I need to know.
Yeah.
Like I need to know that. I need that type of security.
Right.
I need that.
Right.
And then my second one, and I've thought about this because you know they say like without taking a test, you know your love language based off of how you give love to a person.
Okay.
And that's how you can tell what their love language is because how they give, like how you give it is how you prefer to receive it.
Right.
So my second one will probably be, I think, hold on, go through them again.
So words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and then physical touch.
It gotta be, I feel like it's a toss up between quality time and acts of service because I'm like you, we don't have to be doing anything grand.
Yeah.
But it really is like, I just want your undivided attention.
Absolutely. That's important.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. Mm-hmm. And then like acts of service because I mean, I love to do things for people without them asking me to do it. Like I love to make things easier for people and stuff like that. And so I feel like I don't know if I would love if a person would do that for me too. Okay. I have not come across that yet.
She hasn't come across it yet.
You know, I would love for a person to think about what I'm thinking about before I think about it.
I got you. Definitely. It's funny because I actually discussed this topic before I came over here, you know, with Malcolm. So, you know, I always like to ask him what are his, like, you know, because a lot of time guys aren't
they don't really know. They're not tapped in, tuned in.
Right, they're not tuned in. And, you know, I read him to him and he, you know, I was surprised by what he said. I was, but it's just kind of funny because, like we said, guys are not really tapped into their. Let me see.
I wanna see if I can guess what Mr. Malcolm's love language is. Okay. I've been around y'all, you know, quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know him 100%, but all right. Let me see. For him, all right. You said words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would be either quality time or gifting, is what I would think.
So, yes to the gifting. First of all, if you and then this is funny because you've been around us and you know, this man loves cars. He loves to work on cars. He can hear a car outside and tell you what it is. It's really creepy, and I'm talking about you. And you're going to see this, but it's funny. I just always ask him, what's on your eBay list? It's that simple. What is on your eBay list that you want? And he's like, okay, this, I want this, and I want this. That's easy. And that's true. That is one of his ones.
Listen, a man that know what he wants, that's a rarity, okay? Look, they always say, we don't know what we want to eat, but these men don't never know what they want. So if this man got a list, lock him down, sis. Look, that bars. If this man got a list, lock him down, sis.
Lock him down. But yes, so I had to ask him that because I find it real interesting. You know, about the 5 love languages. I love it. I love to talk about.
Love languages are definitely important because you know, you can try to give somebody love the way that you receive love, and they may not receive, they won't receive it, and you be looking crazy like, well, they're unappreciative.
Yes.
But it's because you're not giving it to them the way that they view love should be given to them.
Absolutely.
So it's very important to know your partner, like know what they expect, like just know the ins and outs of them. So I agree, the 5 love languages are very important.
Absolutely.
And I remember when Think Like a Man came out, and like that was the big craze, and everybody was talking about it. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things like. To be, if you're one of them couples that are willing to do the work in a relationship, like that's definitely a prerequisite for anything else that you do in relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But that leads me into the topic that I want to talk about tonight.
Okay.
Excuse me. The topic I want to talk about tonight. A lot of people have heard of the term fight or flight.
Okay.
And so the other day I was on my phone scrolling, like, you know how Google has like the discovery where it just has all these different stories or whatever. So I go on there and I see this article that says fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Well, it said fawn. I looked up a different article that said freeze, which I never heard of freeze or fawn. And I'm sure a lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
But it triggered me to want to like read it and read more about it, because I always say if it's fight or flight, I'm flight.
Okay.
Like, you know me. I be out of there.
Quick.
Real quick. And I've learned over my 30 years of life that it's a defense mechanism that I've adapted to traumatic experiences. Instead of dealing with them, I'd rather just walk away from it and say forget it.
Right, right.
I thought it was quite interesting to read the definitions of what, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn actually is. And so I took a little screenshot. So basically, these are defense mechanisms. It's a stress response. It's how you react to stress. And so basically the fight response is your body's way of facing a perceived threat aggressively. So basically when it go down, we knucking, we bucking, we ready to fight, period.
Yep.
Flight, the exact opposite, means your body has urges to run away from the danger. So whatever that perceived danger is, immediately you're like, nah, get me up out of here.
Right.
Freeze is exactly what it sounds like. Freeze is your body's inability to move or act against a threat. So basically, when something happens, if you find yourself getting stuck in that moment and you just can't say anything, can't move, nothing, you're the type to just shut down.
Right.
And then the most interesting one that I wanted to talk about was the fawn reaction, and that's the body's stress response to try to please someone to avoid a conflict.
Say that again. Read that again.
Fawn is your body's stress response to try to please someone to avoid conflict. The goal of the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response is to decrease, end, or evade danger and return to a calm state. But yes, so the one that I want to talk about is obviously the fawn response. And the reason why I wanted to talk about the fawn response is because, like I said, at this big age of 30, we're now starting to reflect on some of the patterns and traits that we have, and we're constantly looking to be better. At least our generation is actively.
Right.
And on my journey of tapping into, why I am the way that I am, I've realized, and I've been told before, that I over-explain myself. Even in my younger years when, I first became like sexually active and stuff like that, I attribute most of my worldliness. Right, put it together. We ain't going, so I attribute a lot of that to like, daddy issues and things like that, how I was raised, different things like that. And I realized that I am why do I have such a hard time being a people pleaser? And so I really wanted to get to the core of that. And it was so interesting when I found this. I was just like, wow, like, it's a real thing. Like, it really is a real thing that from experiencing trauma, you really, like, try to... I'm just read y'all the definition. So the fawn response is often covers up the stress and damage that you're feeling inside due trauma. Fawning is a common reaction to child abuse. The fawn response is your body's emotional reaction that involves becoming highly agreeable to the person who is abusing you. The fawn response can cause confusion and guilt if you have PTSD. Even if you're being treated poorly, your instinct drives you to soothe your abuser instead of resorting to the fight or flight response. And so and I know we got a tip on eggshells. I'm not sure how much you are willing to open up about certain things.
Okay.
But me, everybody knows I'm an open book. I don't care about transparency, and at the end of the day, if the shoe fit, wear it.
Listen.
But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I feel like we both have experienced what it's like to grow up with a parent that you have to walk on eggshells around because you're not 100% sure of what their emotions are going to be like on any given day.
Yes.
And it was so interesting to me to hear about this fawn response because I'm just like, I really had to like break this down because for the longest I would just try to make it better, apologize for stuff that's not even my fault. And so, you know, one of the things that I thought was so interesting also is the fact that basically how you can know if you're a person who fawns.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you that. Like, how are people supposed to know if they're fawning?
So these are the key signs that fawning trauma is your response. You look to others to see how you feel in a relationship or situation. And I'll put myself in the hot chair. You know that's me all day and all night. I had a huge problem with deciphering how I'm really feeling. Right. And a lot of the times I have to bounce ideas off of other people because I'm like, am I justified to feel the way I feel?
I do it too.
Yeah.
So
as I'm getting older, I really have to put myself in the mindset of, yes, whatever you feel, you are justified to feel that.
There's a reason you're feeling that.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
So don't try to downplay that. Then another one is, well, the same thing pretty much. You have trouble identifying your feelings even if you're alone. So, you know, I mean, feelings, we already said, are not my strong suit. I don't prefer them. So, you know, like, for a while, the only emotion that I could show properly was anger. Anger. It's like, and I feel like a lot of people can identify with anger being their first reaction and natural reaction to things.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. Like, it's easy to be angry. And then you have that moment of, okay, somebody did something to you or this situation happened. I'm angry. Then you have that couple minutes after you're done being angry and you're like, why was I even angry in the first place? Like, why? Like, why? And then you think about everything. And
honestly, like, you know, like I said, well, we didn't even get a chance to talk about this. But in an experience that recently just happened in my life, I really had to reflect. And once I reflected, I was like, okay, what is the root of why I'm actually upset? And I really had to think about that. So the next one is you feel like you have no identity or authentic self. The next one is you're constantly trying to please other people, whether through flattery, affection, or catering to the demands of others. And then the next one is at the first sign of conflict, your first instinct is to appease the angry person. The next one is you ignore your own beliefs, needs, preferences, thoughts, and feelings to please others. And that one I know a lot of people out there will be able to identify with because I always put myself last in a scenario. Always put myself last. And realistically, like, you know, as a people, we need to unlearn that trauma. Like, we don't even realize how much trauma we experience that warrants us to even act like this anyway.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people don't sit with themselves. And what I mean by sit with yourself is when you're at home and you're literally like don't have a significant other by you. You don't have anybody, no distractions, and you're literally just sitting with yourself, reflecting on whether it's the day, the month, the year, whatever. You're just thinking. A lot of people don't do that. They don't know how to.
People run away from it because they're afraid of what thoughts will come up in that time where they're sitting by themselves. And like, you know, you have to, as adults, we have to get to a place where we're okay with addressing the uncomfortable. Nothing good lives in your comfort zone. So it's one of the things where you have to really like be introspective, because if you see a trait about yourself that you don't like, it's a root. And figuring out the root of whatever that issue is the most important part to figuring out how to get rid of that pattern.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the last one was, and this one hit me in my soul. This one hit me in my soul. But yeah, so the very last way that you can, you know, see if fawning is your trauma response to stress is you have trouble setting healthy boundaries in relationships.
Yeah. Honestly, I fawn. I mean, just from your example and you reading what fawning is, I mean, there's a lot of times in, you know, other than my, you know, personal relationship, like my family relationships to everything, where I'm just like, I don't set boundaries. At the end of the day, I have trouble remembering that we are now like 30. You know, like we go to work, we have bills, like we have our own lives. And sometimes I put other people before myself. I put other people's issues before myself. When in all reality, and I always apologize for it. I'm like, oh well, I'm sorry for being selfish. But no, I want to be selfish. It's about me. Let's focus on myself. Let's focus on the bills that I have. Let's focus on maybe the issues that I'm having at work instead of focusing on other people. So I definitely fawn.
Yeah.
I definitely fawn.
And you know, I want to say, what is this, 2022? I want to say it was 2020 or maybe the beginning of 2021 that my word of the year was boundaries. Because I knew that I had a very hard time having boundaries. Like, because I used to always chalk it up to, I'm just such a giving person. I just like to help people. I just like to do this. And that is true. But it's a very fine line between wanting to do things out of your heart versus doing things out of feeling like you have an obligation, or, you know, out of fear of somebody retaliating, or, you know, doing it because you want somebody's approval or whatever the case may be, or you're afraid to say no because it's a lot that goes into that. And so, like, for me, like, boundaries are definitely something that I have struggled with, but I'm trying to get better with. And I tell people all the time when they have trouble with boundaries, is because, you know, like I said, it often comes with feelings of like you feel bad because you had to kind of put your foot down. Yeah. And so I tell people all the time, if T isn't okay, none of the rest of that stuff that you worry about is gonna be okay. Right. So self-care is the best care. If you have to be selfish to make sure that your mental space is right, to make sure that you have peace, to be calm, best believe that whatever you're worried about, that person, you know, oh, they can't do this without me. Let me tell you what, they can. And they will.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
And real love does not hold an account of wrongdoing. Like, literally, unconditional love will bounce back. And so you gotta really like find comfort in knowing, like, okay, just because I may tell them something that's not favorable to them or something that they're not used to me hearing, yeah, they're gonna react a certain type of way initially because they're not used to me being this way, and they're gonna ultimately be like, oh, you changing up. But ultimately, it will get better. Yeah, it will get better.
Absolutely.
I guess we're gonna move on to, you know, some of the current events that's going on this week. Yes. We got a lot of good news. You know, we getting close to Black History Month, and so you know we're going to start it off right.
And I was gonna say Black Excellence because I definitely jotted that down. I was hyped to jot that down first of all. But let's talk about the HBCU gymnastics team. I want to say I first seen it on TikTok. And the reason I say TikTok is because y'all, I don't got cable, okay? I got Netflix.
Listen, they don't got cable either. Don't explain nothing to them.
I got cable.
What y'all got? Y'all got Hulu.
Yeah.
Y'all got Netflix.
Amazon Prime. People be watching stuff. But
look, what y'all got? Fire Stick.
Listen.
We know about that too. And it's jailbroken, but we ain't gonna snitch on y'all. Don't I got cable?
So Fix University is the first and I'm reading this, is the first HBCU to have an intercollegiate women's gymnastics team. And let me explain to you why this is so big to me. First of all, since I want to say yay high, I'm still yay high, but since I was younger, yay
high to a grass high.
Yeah, listen, I started out in gymnastics, believe it or not. I started out at Skyline, shout out to Skyline Gymnastics in York, and then I broadened my horizon to cheerleading. So I love watching gymnastics, and to see an all-black squad, it gave me chills. It gave me chills. It's amazing. I feel like, how can you describe it other than just black excellence? I know that they did have their first meet, and I want to say, obviously, they won. And I just think anybody that's into sports, anybody that's into gymnastics is definitely tuning into this, because I feel like it's very, very... It's amazing. It's amazing to see.
I mean, it's definitely influential because, you know, we grew up with, you know, the Olympics pretty much being an all-white affair, except for, like, track and field, you know.
Yes.
So to see, you know, representation matters.
Yeah, I'll show you. She'll put it up.
Yeah, we'll put it up on the screen.
I'm going to show you the picture of all of them.
But yes, representation matters because it helps our young black women, our young black men to really see that there's more than one path to where they want to go. And, you know, gymnastics, you know, even though not everybody makes it, but because it's your like if it's your passion, anything is possible.
Absolutely.
Anything is possible. So, I mean, that is amazing, you know, that there's a whole... group of black women.
Whole group of black women that are competing, and gymnastics is not easy. Listen, I could get down and do a split right now, and I'll be sore for the next like 3 days. Okay.
Well, I used to be limber, but that was once upon a time. But yeah, gymnastics never been my thing. I mean, contrary to what a lot of my family members might try to tell you, because I done flipped off of a few things and hurt myself when I was a kid. Like,
I'm not even gonna ask.
No, seriously, I'll tell this one story. This one story, I was like, man, I had to have been like 10. Couldn't have been no more than like 10, maybe even younger than that. I was going to the Power Center. This was back when I was living in Baltimore.
Okay.
So, people who don't know what the Power Center is, the Power Center is pretty much like an after-school program where kids go to after school. They help you with your homework. They do all types of games, activities. Like, we used to go skating every like Wednesday and Friday. Like, we used to go and do so many different things. Like, so many different things. And it was ran by the Baltimore City Police Department. So the police officers were doing all this fun stuff.
Okay.
So, I said all that to say, back then I was a tomboy. Put that out there. I was a tomboy, number one, and I was also a daredevil.
Okay.
So literally it was like, if you're going to dare me to do it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So literally, these boys dared me. They were doing flips off of the bleachers, like the high-rise bleachers, you know, that be at the stadium.
Yeah.
At the top, the toppiest point. They on there doing cartwheels and backflips and everything else. Little boy dared me to do it. And in my mind, I'm like,
you got it.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got it.
Girl, did that flip, came down. My arm was like a zigzag. They had to rush me to the emergency room and bring it right back in. Yeah. Yeah, so gymnastics never been my strong suit. Never. Yeah, so that's where it comes in when they say mind the business that pays you.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, obviously for those ladies to be winning like that, they definitely are black excellence. For
absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. So, is Is it that time for?
No, it's not that time. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
okay,
I got one more thing for
I'm
y'all.
sorry, I'm trying to rush to it. My bad.
Listen, and it's in the spirit of Black History Month.
Okay.
You know, we just celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, and then I told you all on the first episode about, you know, my experience with the Lorraine Motel, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen in the media the new statue that was just unveiled in Boston called The Embrace.
Yes.
And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it was so many mixed reviews about this statue.
I seen the funny one. I'm not gonna lie. I seen like I seen the one about the baby boy, and they said that he was choking him. I seen that one, and I said, okay, and I have to show it to you after, but it's funny. Anyway, continue.
Well, I saw that it was just a lot of mixed reviews. You know,
Yeah.
for the most part, people felt like they missed the mark with that one.
Okay.
But for those who have not seen what I'm talking about, it's a statue that was built in Boston, and it's a tribute to the hug that Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King shared after Dr. Martin Luther King won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay.
So literally, and honestly, what I will say is, when I first saw it, because you gotta think about this, perspective is everything.
Right.
When I first saw it, obviously it was a lot of pictures that people had taken, and it was just not at the right angle.
Right.
So it left me confused. It was a lot of times I'm like,
What is it?
what is that?
Yeah, yeah.
And then honestly, until I saw somebody put the side-by-side picture of them embracing each other, then I saw it from the right angle, and then I saw it from another angle where it actually looks like a heart, which I'm sure a lot of people probably didn't even see that angle,
No.
because everybody wants to be a hater and be negative, so
Okay.
nobody wants to promote what it is.
Right, right.
When I saw all of that, I was just like, wow, this is a beautiful statue.
Did they explain what it was? Like before
Yes.
everybody assumed? Okay.
And they explained exactly what it was. Everybody, like, it was a whole unveiling ceremony.
Mm.
So when it got to the internet, people were just being facetious. People were just finding reasons to be
And that's
bold.
what I seen. So I did see what it actually was, you know, but I seen people being facetious, definitely.
Yeah,
They're
so
making fun of
I
it.
don't know. If you were one of the people that saw it and was just like, "What is this?" I mean, I agree. From some angles, it's like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
But when you see it from the right angle and you see it side by side with that picture, and I will find that picture to put it up there for you, because I believe that if we paint that picture of, okay, this is what it was and this is what we got, I think that more people will be like, okay, I can see where they're going with this.
I got you. I got you.
I see. I think so. I think it was good. But anyway, it's time for conspiracy time.
Spirit fingers.
Conspiracy fingers.
Spirit fingers. Yes, yes, yes.
So the first thing I want to talk about on Conspiracy Talk today is, so last week I had told you all about the guy that was on, like, riding past a mountain and he saw a giant on the mountain.
Yeah.
So I have more information on that. So the guy's name on not Instagram, TikTok is Andrew Dawson. He is a person who lived in British Columbia. And the reason why I say lived is because also in that last episode I told you all that they found him dead.
Yes.
Now, mind you, what I didn't know was the timeline, because obviously on TikTok everything just pops up whenever it pops up.
Right.
So actually this situation where he actually filmed this giant on this mountain took place back in April of last year.
Okay.
They found him dead in July of last year. Now, mind you, I am just now seeing this in January of 2023. So now it's becoming more of a blown up thing, because people are like, bro really exposed this and the CIA killed him. Yes. So this all happened in British Columbia. And so basically, you know, just to give a recap of what I talked about last week, in case you didn't see the episode, was he was riding in the car, he was filming with his camera a mountain that was in the distance, and it was a large figure. And I'll actually show you the picture, and I'm going to put it up for you all to see also. But literally, when you see it, you're like, there's no way that was a person. As big as that figure is on that mountain, I mean, like a regular sized person, like clearly.
Yeah.
And then one of the things after I looked it up even more was, so when he came back, I want to say maybe not even the next day or maybe a little while after, it literally was a whole government looking type building that was sitting in that spot. that was not there before. So it leaves you to wonder, what are they hiding?
Okay, so I know everybody watches Netflix. There's a movie on Netflix called The Giant. Maybe The Giant? I don't know. I'm going to look it up. But it has to do with a giant that they were, I don't know, all its family members died in a cave, and this one was still alive, and it was moving around, and it just reminds me of what we just looked at. It's crazy.
I had to check it out.
It's good.
But you know, with that being said, now deep into this conspiracy black hole, because y'all know I love me some conspiracy. It really goes back to the Bible, because there is proof in the Bible of giants. And really, they talk about how giants came to existence. So basically, you know, like I said, take everything with a grain of salt. You believe what you want to believe. Take a little, leave a little, whatever. But basically, how these giants supposedly came into existence was, so, you know, you had the angels in heaven. They got banished down to earth by God because he was upset. When they got down to earth, they started having sex with people. And when the angels started to have sex with the people, they created giants. And if we go back, apparently, you know, in history and old maps of, like, the first maps of the world, it was places where these giant beings apparently existed, and they're graphed on several historical documents to show proof that they existed. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, how did the pyramids in Egypt get built? Well, it's said that giants built them. Conspiracy?
Or not. That's interesting. That's very, very, very interesting. And that movie is called The Troll. So it's not called The Giant. I lied. It's called Troll. But it has the same, you know what I mean? It's a giant in the mountains. And it's really, I thought it was going to be corny. Watch it if you haven't seen it. Seriously, it's good.
I'm going to check it out.
It's really, really good. It's really good.
And what's also, before I, you know, wrap up this topic, is that it was another sighting in Mexico of another giant recently. Now, this was in January.
I was going to say, you have any pictures of that?
I do not. But they have seen giants. It's multiple different things on conspiracy sites. Just type in giants, and I'm sure it'll come up. But some are saying that it's said in the last days, you know, in the Bible, of what was going to happen as far as these giants and these angels and whatnot. And then now all of a sudden, all these random sightings of giants everywhere. So the question really is, where have they been all this time? If they have existed this whole time.
They be lying to us. They be lying. Listen, I'm saying this because I don't want the windows closed. They be lying to us.
Yeah.
They've known about this for a long time.
They just been trying to keep us
absolutely
out of the loop. But yeah, so I don't know. You guys tell me whether you believe in giants. But hey, I can't totally say. So my next conspiracy talk is something that is very current. And I'm sure you all, and you may, I don't know, if you saw the video of Nelly performing in Australia.
Okay. Is this about the kid that he hugged?
No.
But do you know
But it's a part of that, because they were saying, like, it's like a ritual that has been going on to groom these children.
Yes.
That's the part that I discovered today.
So, what I seen, and of course I seen this on TikTok, is that he was on stage with a little girl.
Multiple.
I seen that. I didn't see multiple. I just seen one. And the way he was caressing.
Putting his head on her face.
I said, and if that's
and the words that he's singing, I remember the days that you first looked at me. Like, sir, with that little girl. And this is why I don't fault just R. Kelly in that scenario with him. It's because where is your parents?
And why are they allowing this to go on? What?
My thing is, like, where are your parents? Those little girls, like, that's why they say all right, let me not put the cart before the horse, because it's definitely relevant. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, he had a performance in Australia. He's on the microphone and his eyes just going and just looking crazy. Now, when I first saw it, of course, everybody has their own theory. Most people were saying, oh, he rolling off of them perks. He high as hell. He this, he that. Me personally, When I looked at it, I said, that is a damn demon.
Oh.
That is a demon. We have heard before of these celebrities selling their souls to the Illuminati for fame and fortune and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we also know, proven many times, that Beyonce has said there's something that she channels that just takes over her body. And that's what Sasha Fierce is. You know, we hear that with Nicki Minaj when she first came out, and who is Roman Polanski. So we know that these celebrities channel these spirits. When I saw that, I said, yo, that is a damn demon. That demon don't know what to do right now. It's just doing whatever. And so that's what brings me to the whole ritual, they're calling it, with these little girls. Like I said, the video I saw earlier, it was multiple little girls over the year that he has pulled up on the stage and did the exact same routine with these young girls. And they're calling it like a grooming type thing.
First of all, let me just say, I like Nelly's music. I like his, old music to his, if he even has any current music.
He got some current country music. That's what I will say. His current country music, I can get with it.
It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I've ever heard it, so we might have to listen to that. But that's just, when I seen it, I'm just like, ew. That's how I felt. There's no other way.
Because it's cringy. It's cringy. Imagine these little girls could not have been no more than about 9 or 10 years old. Mind you, this man at this point is what, in his 40s? So when that song first came out, he had to have been like his 30s, mid-30s probably. What, sir? Why are you caressing on a little girl, putting your forehead on her forehead? You couldn't find no adults in that whole audience.
Listen, in the whole audience, and it's just creepy. It's just like, it's creepy.
But like, sir, you're not even considered a sex symbol.
Not
So, and then if you were,
listen.
why wouldn't you pull a grown ass woman on the stage?
I thought it was, listen, at first, when you're first looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's his daughter. And he's singing to his daughter, maybe like a cute father and daughter song. And then when I read, and I'm like, this is not his daughter, this is somebody's child.
Somebody's child.
What?
So, is it a demon? Conspiracy? Or not?
Right.
I don't know. But as always, we have a lot of fun with the conspiracy talk. Like I said, if y'all see anything that y'all want to, put on our radar that we don't know about, definitely send it to me because I'm always interested. But yeah, that's all I had to talk about tonight, sis. Anything else you want to get off your chest, or we good?
No, we're good. I think we're good.
All right. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. This is our 3rd episode. I hope you all are enjoying it.
Yes.
And as always, follow me on social media at goldchain__diva. And you can follow my co-host at
Ms. Beatty. That's MZ_Beatty. So.
All right. Well, we look forward to hearing your comments and your thoughts. And always make sure you subscribe so that you're notified every time we drop a video.
And like it.
Yep.
Sorry.
It takes nothing to like.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Have a good night.
See ya.